Hey, what's going on YouTube? Gary here, gzduel here to bring you guys a deck profile, but not a deck profile of one of my decks. In fact, this is going to be something familiar and different at the same time. It's familiar because it's Madolches and I play Madolches, but at the same time it's different because this is not my deck. This is Alexander Thomas, a duelist who top 32 with his Madolche deck at WCQ in Chicago. And this deck is just really cool, and I want to show you guys what I think about this deck. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of YouTubers analyze it, but I feel like their analysis is the common type of analysis for someone who never played a deck, or for someone who only has a basic knowledge of how Madolche decks work. I'm trying to bring a more experienced Madolche player's view on this deck, and I want to show you guys two revolutionary theories I think about this deck. One is a conspiracy theory, the other is a theory that'll totally change the way you look at this deck and make sense of all of these weird choices that you might think might be weird on the first glance. So without further ado, let's get into this weird deck profile. So what does he play? Okay, he plays some weird things. I'm just save this for a second. He plays 3 Effect Veilers, 3 Madolche Hoot Cake, 3 Madolche Magdalene, 2 Madolche Messenger Gelato, 1 Madolche Mew, 1 Madolche Pudding Cess, 3 Maxi, and 2 Thunder Kings. For the spells, he plays Book of Moon, 2 Forbidden Lance, 1 Madolche Chateau, 2 Madolche Ticket, and 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. And for the traps, he plays 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Compulsory Evacuation, 2 Dark Bribes, 1 main decked Imperial Iron Wall, 1 Madolche Knights, 1 Madolche Palooza, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Scrap Iron Scarecrow, Solemn Judgment, 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Ultimate Offering, and 1 Vanity's Emptiness. For the side deck, he plays 3 Drone Lockbirds, 2 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, 1 Marmamade, 1 Meteon the Time Lord, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Madolche Chateau, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, 3 Gozen Match, and the 2nd Imperial Iron Wall. In the extra deck, he has 1 Abyss Dweller, Diamond Direwolf, Fairy King Alberditch, Cowboy, Levier, Invoker, 2 Queen Tiramisu, Maestroke, Shockmaster, Acid Golem, Utopia Ray, Soul of Silver Mountain, and Zen main switch he says he never made, and I don't believe him. So let me explain to you what I think about some of these weird choices. Let me go into conspiracy theory number 1. I think it is my belief that Alexander Thomas, he's trolling us. He's not being truthful with us at all. I mean, sure, he could be playing these weird cards. He could be main decking like Scrap Iron Scarecrow, but would you believe that he's main decking Scrap Iron Scarecrow? I know some people testify to him being playing this card and playing some cards like Madolche Knights, but if you think about it, his deck could have been designed a totally different way. He doesn't have to show you the deck that he actually played throughout the event. He could be showing you something totally randomized, showing you things that don't even make sense together, but make sense if you side them in correctly. So if you think about it, for example, you see his Heavy Storm is in the side deck. Should it be in the side deck? It could be. You can justify Heavy Storm in the side deck because you play a back row heavy deck as well. But at the same time, if you could think about Heavy Storm as a better card, a better choice than something like Vanity's Emptiness, maybe, especially because you don't know what your opponent is playing, and maybe even Scrap Iron Scarecrow, or maybe even that Pudding Cess. So let me suggest to you guys this idea. I don't know if it's true, but I think it makes sense. He is trying to protect his intellectual property. As you guys know, anything that tops YCS or WCQ, if it's weird, if it's new, if it's original, it's going to be copied by everybody. It's going to have a lot of scrutiny, a lot of public attention. Now, people are going to try to copy his idea, try to net deck, try to play with his idea, up to the point where his idea no longer becomes original. Now, by doing this, by switching up the order of the cards, he's still playing the same cards, but by switching up the ordering of the main deck and the side deck, he's confusing those people who are trying to copy his idea. Only he knows how the deck really works. Now, if that happens, even if he shows you guys this deck profile, you'll just be like, what is this garbage? I don't understand his card choices. But to him, everything makes sense. He developed the concept. He keeps the concept secret and public at the same time. That's just genius. That's like some Illuminati next level thing he's doing. But of course, I'm not sure if this is exactly what he's doing, but it makes sense, right? Okay, I'm gonna go for conspiracy theory number 2. Instead of looking at this deck Instead of looking at this deck as a Madolche deck with a lot of tech cards, we should be thinking about it in a reversed type of way. This, I don't think, is a Madolche deck. I played with this deck a little bit and I gotten used to this deck, and let me tell you, this has no resemblance to Madolche's, how I would play a Madolche deck, except for like a few key strategies. So what am I trying to suggest to you guys? I'm trying to suggest to you guys he's not playing a Madolche deck. He is playing an anti-meta deck first with a Madolche engine in that anti-meta deck to help keep the anti-meta deck rolling so that the anti-meta deck doesn't run out of resources. He can use Chateau, he can use Ticket, search out things from the deck. He can use Chateau and he has something like Imagineering. All of a sudden Imagineering becomes 1,900 attack, or maybe Messenger Lotto becomes 2,100 attack. And he's not playing, it doesn't take a lot of cards of the Madolche archetype to make, some of these key combos work. All he needs is one Madolche Mew, one Madolche Hoot Cake, and a monster in the graveyard, which, he has hand traps, plenty of hand traps. He can go for the Invoker plus Queen Tiramisu combo. He doesn't need that much to do stuff. He can draw into one Imagineering and one Ultimate Offering, and all of a sudden he's going for an Imagineering OTK. Right? He doesn't need a lot to make the Madolche part of the deck working. And consequently, he's not playing a Madolche deck. He's using the Madolche deck in the way that it functions to help run the anti-meta deck. Now take a look at the anti-meta portion of the deck. You see that he plays things like Bottomless Trap Hole and Compulse, and he's playing Dark Bribe so that he cares more about his back row than his monsters. He cares enough to actually let the opponent draw an extra card so that his back row doesn't get heavy stormed. He cares enough so that he's willing to sacrifice, using Madolche Hoot Cake's effect in order for Imperial Iron Wall to be on the field. He is, anti-meta enough to want to have Vanity's Emptiness on the field and prevent himself from special summoning as well, which, the Madolche deck really wants to special summon as much as any other deck just wants to. And from that, we can actually make sense of some of these card choices. If you see a conflict between Imperial Iron Wall, like I do, Imperial Iron Wall and Hoot Cake, don't. Think about it like this. Imperial Iron Wall takes precedence over Madolche Hoot Cake. He is being anti-meta. His first priority is to stop the dragons from removing cards from the graveyard so that he can prevent them from special summoning all of his big dragons out. He's preventing, the removal of an Evil Swarm monster for Cursion's effect to go for a second or maybe a third Ophion. He's preventing the removal of spell cards so that the Spellbook of Fate would not even work for the, for the Prophecy player. He doesn't even need Madolche Hoot Cake's effect. Madolche Hoot Cake, like I said, under Madolche Chateau is a 2,000 attack monster. You can't complain about that, right? Now, if you think about that, then everything makes sense. Anti-meta first, Madolche deck second. And on that note, I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my 2 conspiracy theories. I think the first one's a bit crazy, but you'll excuse me because I'm actually really excited to see a Madolche deck do well. Even though I don't consider this really a Madolche deck. But hats off to Alexander Thomas for being creative, for not conforming to the meta, for trying to beat the meta with a lot of hate. I admire that spirit. So on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments about this deck, please feel free to drop it in the comment section below. And this is Gary gzduels signing out.